Well, good evening. And you are on with the Blondes right here on KUNX, your new mainstream. And lovely Dee Dee is looking as lovely as always right there.
You
It's
too.
oh, thank you. It's Monday. I'm hoping I changed my position a little bit. So hopefully we're not going to have a lot of flashing. Probably won't
Yeah.
make a difference, but I'm going to try anyways for you out there. Hello to everybody on the side. We've got Bill and Rob and Kyle and Michael. I think that's everybody that I've seen so far that's making themselves noticed. Um, yeah, it's Monday, and let's see. Last week was 4th of July, correct? So
Yeah.
we weren't on live, but we did stop by on Sunday on our channel and did a little recorded thing for our unboxing of Kitsy Duncan's uh, thatwitchbeauty.com products, and they were
Yeah.
amazing, right? We did a great unboxing, so go check that out on the Paranormally Blonde channel. I quickly spritzed myself with the energizing spray.
I did too.
Right, like it's so amazing that I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna do that right before the show. So the holidays passed. Here we are, mid-July already. How is that? Like what is even happening right now?
I don't know. I see people talking about the Halloween and everything.
Yeah, right. Like it seems like I was just getting ready for this big road trip, and here I am, the middle of July,
Yeah.
and yeah, here we are. So this Sunday we have a little treat for you guys that will be live on the Paranormally Blonde channel. We're going to have a little fun with Dee Dee. She's going to take us through some haunted California.
Yes.
So we get to see her outside the studio doing her thing, and I'll be sitting right here doing my thing. So join us at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to keep it our normal time for you guys, but Sunday, and come see where Dee Dee takes us. A little tour, a little paranormal something. Hopefully we'll catch a little.
It's going to be fun. I'm so excited to get out there and show you guys some fun stuff in California because I feel like everybody's back east.
Yeah, right? Like it's time to let's bring the coasts together here on Paranormally Blind, right? That's what we're all about. We're all about community. All right, so tonight we're going to have some fun, right? We're bringing on a friend, somebody that we've been watching for a long time. We've had her on the show before, but she's kind of got a lot of new things going on. We've got the Village Tarot Witch, Miss Carly.
Hi.
Cutest girl in the industry. Best smile.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thank you. Yeah, busy. I'm always busy.
Always busy. If you guys follow her on Instagram, the Village, well, she's so awesome now. She's got lots of people imitating her.
Oh my God.
Oh my
so many.
God. Yeah.
So many. Every day there's a new one. Yeah. I have a lot of scam accounts. It happens to a lot of people, a lot of other readers, anybody in the spiritual kind of community. But yeah, they'll make clones of our accounts and then message people and say things like, Grand Rising, would you like a reading? I'm drawn to your energy, and it's gross and I hate it.
Yeah. It's like every day poor Carly's got another this is my only account.
This is it. I label every single thing that I do.
So go follow it, because every day, sometimes I feel like more than once a day. I could be wrong. You're doing
sometimes
really
I do.
Cool, you're doing really cool readings. You lay out the cards, you write them out on the chalk.
I do.
Chalkboard.
Yeah.
Put two words together, seriously.
Same all the time.
It's Monday, right? I'm a little discombobulated. But before all that, so I feel like when we first sort of found you, or like when we kind of started seeing you, right? So you were kind of just getting into it. I remember your story. You were just like, yeah, I just started doing it.
Yeah, I did. I just started.
You just started doing it. Like, I'm just going to be a reader. I'm just going to start reading tarot cards.
Yep.
Yeah. And you just had the confidence to just I'm just going to do it.
Here we go. Yeah, it actually was funny. When I started my account, I didn't actually think that it was going to go anywhere, first of all. And so I just didn't tell anyone in my real life what I was doing. And then it turned into a thing because I guess people like my strange blend of honesty and and whatever, where I'm like, you know what though, this sucks. It's a thing. Here we go. Let's acknowledge it. And the haunted stuff. But my brother had my account suggested to him one day, and he took a screenshot and he sent it to me, and he was like, "Were you going to tell me about this?" And I was like, I mean, eventually, yeah. He's like, "Why wouldn't you say anything? This is awesome." And I was like, "I don't know. I didn't know it was going to be a thing. And then it was a thing. And I didn't know how to explain that here I am."
Yeah. It is a great thing. And I think you just touched on something. You are really honest. I think what draws me to the way you read, or just who you are, you know, when you're kind of going through, especially tarot readers, or like you said, the spiritual sort of thing, sometimes it gets a little too, is woo-woo the right word? Like
woo-woo,
right?
Love and light.
And so sometimes I love when you're just like, you know what, today's just crap. And we're gonna just do a reading about this today. And you picked the best cards. You got like a huge library of tarot cards.
So many decks. Yeah.
How many do you have now?
I have over 80 decks.
Wow.
And I just keep buying more. I don't know.
It's addicting.
It is addicting. I just feel like each deck has different personalities, and sometimes I don't want to use a certain deck because it's going to be mean to me.
Yeah, right.
And other times you need a gentle deck.
I think that's something that people don't really sort of give enough attention to with tarot. They really do have personalities.
They do. Yeah.
And they really can be mean. And sometimes, like you said, you do want to fall upon the more gentle cards because you need more of a hug and not a slap in the face.
You know, I feel like sometimes even the gentle ones, I went through, I had a rough few weeks not too long ago, and I was like, we're just going to avoid this. I'm going to do my social media stuff. I'm going to avoid personal readings. And when I came back, they were like, "Really?
Yeah.
Now you want to talk to us?" I was like, "What?"
That's right. That's right.
I haven't been anywhere. I just was on vacation.
That's an excellent question, Michael. How do you dispose, if you do, of a deck that's unfavorable? I love that question. Great question.
That's a really good question. Yeah. So I just keep them.
Yeah.
I have had a few that I didn't connect with, and those ones I wait for the right person. That sounds kind of mean. I don't mean I don't like you, I'm gonna give you this deck. No, but like I feel like some decks energies will react better to other people. So there's been a few decks that I bought because I really love the artwork, and I thought that it was going to be this magnificent deck, and when I used it, it was kind of like, well, that's something. So I will pass those ones on. But even like the decks that I say that I'll avoid, I feel like they have their purpose. And if you need that kind of energy, that's like, you're going to get up and you're going to do this thing. Sometimes those decks are the best ones because they're like, "All right, are you done feeling sorry for it?" Yeah, I pawn them off.
That's right. So, and that is a really good thing because, like I said, and you said really that, you know, you are very honest. So during those times that listen, we all need to hear uncomfortable sometimes.
We do. Yeah.
And so, you know, you do have to keep them around because you can't just be love and light.
Right? No. You can't. It's all about that balance. And especially with social media, and like, look at my face, listen to my voice. I'm constantly smiling. Like on the surface, you know, it's hard. And I had enough people messaging me and being like, "Oh, but you're this, you're that." And I'm like, no. I smile a lot and I have a nice voice, but also I am a mess. Don't look at me and think I have it all together. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just relying on cards to tell me what to do.
And that's so sad that, you know, we kind of get pigeonholed into something that, you know, maybe somebody can just assume that everything's always good or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not life.
I feel like it's hard to, when people are going through something difficult, and the only examples that we have are social media and everything. We share the best parts of our lives on social media. So I will on my page go be like,
I feel like that's not always true. I feel like there are those who only share the worst.
I will agree with that too. It's a balance. It's a delicate balance.
It is a balance. Deehu has a great question as well. Do you ever read the playing cards?
I don't know how. I mean, I technically could. If I had a guide, I could read you could give me any set of cards. I do have one deck that has the playing cards meanings. No, sorry. It's like a weird blend of tarot and playing cards.
Huh.
Okay.
But I found one recently that's a traditional tarot with the playing cards meanings. And that one I want to get because if I could see the traditional meaning, eventually I'll be able to connect the two. But I have a lot of different styles of divination that I practice. And at some point I hit the wall where I was like, this is a lot of information to retain.
It is, right?
It's on my to-do list.
You definitely, I think you have the right ethics for practice. I mean, you're constantly going at it. I mean, if anybody follows your Instagram, like there isn't really a day that you're not at it, right?
Yeah, I do it pretty much every day. I did get really burnt out recently. I feel like you almost have to on social media. You kind of do have to show up every day. I am very driven just in general. Like I have goals, I want to meet them. And in my mind, pushing hard means I'll get there faster. It doesn't work like that, turns out. So now I do still post every day, but I'll have a few hours of downtime in the afternoon where I try to step away from the phone. And then I'll come back and check messages and things like that. So it's a full-time, it's a full-time thing.
It is, right? It is very much a full-time job. Oh, that's a good question as well, D Hoot. She's asking if you have a favorite go-to deck, and if so, can you share which one it is?
I do. I have my favorite go-to deck is the Memento Mori. That is an oracle deck. It is amazing. I love it. Actually, all three of my favorite decks are all oracles. And I also have the Oracle of Oddities, which is made by the same creator. Claire Goodchild, Black into the Moon, I think is her handle on Instagram. And my most recent favorite is the Embroidered Graveyard. It is amazing. And the artist hand stitched every single card on a hoop. Oh, I waited for like a year for that deck and it did not disappoint. It's gorgeous.
Wow.
I love it so much. But as far as tarot decks specifically, I don't think I have a favorite tarot deck, which is strange.
Can we just do a quick tarot versus oracle?
Yeah, of course. So tarot decks, every tarot deck will have about the same amount of cards. So you'll have the major arcana, which are the Empress, the Moon, all those. And then the minor arcanas, which are the suits. You have the Pentacles, Swords, Cups, and Wands. And so different artists they might change the suits, they might change some of the names, but you will always have the same amount of cards and they will always mean generally the same thing. An oracle deck is up to the creator's pleasure. So they can make as many cards as they want in a deck. The Memento Mori was one main deck and then several expansion packs that I've combined into one. The Oracle of Oddities was the same way. It was 3 smaller packs. They work the same way. So my favorite question to use almost every day is, what do I need to know today? As like, I'll drink my coffee in the morning, pull cards and say, what do I need to know today? And I'll just go with that. You can use them both the exact same way. It kind of depends on your preference. Some Oracle decks are a little bit lighter. There's lots of funny memes that are like, one of them is like, I don't know, it's like you're going through a rough patch and tarot will slap you in the face and oracle will give you a hug. It's not always true, but they do have slightly different energies and they're just fun. I own more oracle decks than tarot, but it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Well, can you imagine like something embroidered like that would be, I don't know how easy that is to mix up and read, so to speak.
Well, so she photographed all of the pieces. So she sells the hoops themselves, and then it's a deck of cards, but the edges are like gilded. Oh, it's beautiful. It's really
very
nice,
fancy.
Yes.
Wow. Have you ever thought about creating your own deck?
I have. I've been working on one, but keep in mind that I am very ADHD. So as a creative person with ADHD, it means that I will work on it obsessively for a few weeks and then probably not touch it again for months. So I drew all of the cards. I think maybe there's a few more that I want to add. It's an animal deck, and it's designed like a little chalkboard. I outlined them.
Oh, I love it.
There's a little arrow, and the keywords will be on the card. So it's going to be really cute. But then I decided that what it was missing was sarcasm. So
there's a hero for everybody.
There's a hero for everyone. I like sarcasm and swears. So I'll probably tone it down because I want it to be one that everybody can use. But I definitely wanted to inject my own little brand of humor to it because I think it felt too serious, and that's what made me not like it as much anymore.
Oh my God. So, put me down. I want one already.
It will be coming.
We'll make sure to support that endeavor for sure.
Yes.
Okay. So you were doing the tarot. And that's kind of what I would watch you on Instagram doing. And then you kind of linked up with my friend Eric of Ghost Hunters South Florida, but then War Party Paranormal. So then I watched you doing some work with him, and I thought that is so amazing that you're going to these locations with him and using your tarot, or I don't know which way you would go for an investigation. Does it matter? Do you just kind of do the same thing as feel the energy of where you're at? Okay.
I have 3 decks that are my go-tos for mediumship, actually maybe 4. And that I love how I just kind of fell into that. And it's because of Eric. He was going on a ghost hunt and collaborated with another reader and just said, try this spread, see if you can find anything. And I think my foot was broken, so I was very bored, and I was like, I want to try. Yeah. And I tried it out, and it was accurate enough that we started talking. That was my very first attempt, but he was like, that's not wrong. And I was like, cool. I like to say that my house is occasionally haunted. So I started asking about the experiences that I would have. And then over time, I learned that I can definitely investigate in person or from a distance with cards.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And so do investigators, do they find themselves very much attracted to working with people who do cards? Because sometimes as investigators, we get very weirded out about sharing that sort of limelight, so to speak.
I feel like a bit of mix. I think I'm an easy person to work with because I don't necessarily want to be in the spotlight. I would much prefer, when I work with War Party, they do all the devices, and I just sit on the floor with my cards, and I'm like, you guys ask the questions. I'll just pull cards. I'll tell you what they say. It's a lot of fun. But I haven't worked with a whole ton of groups, mostly because I'm a very anxious person, and I was like, I know these guys and I trust them. I like them. I'll just stay here. But I have done distance collaborations with a few other investigators online. And when I do that, I say, just tell me the location, tell me what you want to know. And I pull as many cards as I want, and I send them this long write-up. And then I'm like, tell me if there's anything else. Oh, you could be there and text me. If I'm awake, if I'm by my phone, I'll be on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that.
It is an interesting, I think, way to I don't know, investigate outside of our own. Because really, right, and when you're doing the readings with Eric, does the equipment ever correlate with what you're doing with your cards?
Almost every time. It's my favorite brag. I won't brag about a lot of things, but this one I will. That it is the coolest freaking feeling to be sitting on the floor surrounded by cards, and I'm like, am I crazy? Am I even getting the right information? And then they play back the EVP. Okay. When they'll line up and the stories will kind of meld. It's my favorite moment of all time.
I love that. Yeah. So cool. Those guys are great to work with anyway.
They really are. They're fantastic people.
Yeah. I've known Eric. He was one of my first followers for my paranormal team. And he's kind of just stuck with us, and
Eric is great. Joe, I've been out with just Joe and his friend Mike a couple of times. Mike is also a member of the team. The entire team, I love them all. They're fantastic.
That's awesome. We got Bill here saying as well, we'll get to D Hoots. He said Carly was one of the first people to buy my coffin pod.
Yeah, I have it right here. I show people this all the time. I have a friend coming to visit me next week, and she was like, "Do you want to do spooky things?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Do you have a REM pod?" I said, "Yeah." It's shaped like a coffin.
That's right. You got it super spooky. That's right.
I love it.
Okay, so D-Hood is asking, do you do runes?
I do.
I've never heard of rune cards. Is it similar to just runes?
They work the exact same way. I have 2 different decks. I also have one of those here. I won't get the whole thing out, but rune cards are runes just in card form. And this deck is extra pretty because it's black and gold.
It's very Art Deco.
It's weird seeing my camera reversed. And I use them. Oops, sorry. I use rune cards and actual runes. I have a set of runes made from bones too, and that one's fun.
I remember that Instagram post when you got them, and you were like, "Yeah,
I was so excited."
Crazy. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Bones,
Okay, so you're doing your readings every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Sometimes multiple times. Depends on how tired I am.
You're a mom, so you've got kiddos to take care of, and then you're working with the investigators when you can.
When I can. It's a little bit harder now. Before my husband was living in the same location, so I was able to go out and do those things. They're just far enough away from me now that when it's just me and the kids, it's harder because that's a lot of money to pay a babysitter. I don't know if y'all know how expensive they are now. It's like, what, $15 an hour? And I'm like,
remember when it was like $250? Like,
I thought I was making a fortune at like 10, being paid $5 an hour, and now I'm like, you're telling me. And if I want to go and talk to ghosts, I have to pay $15 an hour.
That's right. And you have to do it by their schedule. I remember if somebody asked, I dropped whatever I was doing to babysit. Now they're like, well, here's my availability.
Yes. One forgot. I was planning on going to an investigation, and I hadn't been for a long time, so I was pumped. Day of, my babysitter messaged me, and she was like, so I got in trouble. I can still come, but I have to be home by 10. And I was like, it's a 3-hour drive.
Oh my God.
It's a 3-hour drive for me. You have to be home by 10. That means I'm going to get there, say hi, and immediately turn around. Oh, I was so annoyed.
It does make it hard, right?
It does. But it's okay because I can do it from where I am. It's fine.
Take it when you can do it.
Exactly.
And then what is something new that Miss Carly is doing?
I am now on YouTube. Fun. I'm still getting used to that. But I did a podcast before, and I found the transition to video a little bit harder. I don't know why, because I'm on video all the time. But that's vertical. You flip it horizontal, and suddenly I'm like, where do I look, though? Like, where do my eyes go? I try to look dead ahead, and they're wandering different directions. It was weird. I'm still getting used to that. But basically what I do on my YouTube channel is I pick a historical story. I started with only true crime, and then I was like, oh, I miss mediumship. This was a mistake. It was a pretty rapid correct. So I'm 3 episodes in. Episode 3 is the first one that I brought mediumship back in. So I tell a story, haunting, something historical, and then I use the cards to ask more information. And what I ask will depend on the case itself. The one that's going to come out this Friday involves children and a serial killer, and I don't want to ask anything like that. So, but they're connected to black-eyed children, so that's what I'm going to focus my questions on with the cards. Just poking around and seeing, is this a thing? I don't want them to pop up, but I do want to know.
Where can people? How do we find you on YouTube?
On YouTube, you can find me under The Village Tarot Witch. So everything is under my same name. Yeah.
Good. And she's only got one account, people.
Only one account. Only one account. Only one account. Yeah, that's the only one.
All right. So you're keeping it true crime. Do you have, like you said, you're very motivated. You are goal motivated. So do you have any thoughts about where this could go? Are you going to stick with true crime, or?
I would like to branch out into some other areas. I love stories about cryptids. I love hauntings. Basically anything weird is on the table. I would be more than happy to do like alien abductions, things like that. If I can ask my cards about it, I'm in. But that's my so far.
So have you ever asked the cards about aliens?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I have done that. I've done it a couple of times now. I did it once because in the podcast that I was a part of, we did an alien abduction story, and we watched Fire in the Sky, that movie. And I was like, I want to know, though. I just want to know. I want to know, are aliens a thing? What do they really want? And what the cards told me is that, yes, aliens are real. They're a thing, but they're not actually as scary as we think they are. And then the second abduction case we did, it was kind of the same answers. Like, I'm sure that there could 1000% be aliens who are like snatching people to experiment. I don't know what they do. I don't know why they like to abduct people if they do. But yeah, they're like, yeah, this is a thing. It's like, cool. Maybe stay away from me, but cool.
I just asked. I don't want to.
I'm just curious. I have a lot of questions, but if you could keep your little spacecraft away from me, that'd be great.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question that I've been dying to ask. And really, you're probably like the best one, in my opinion, to ask. But, sometimes we see psychics and mediums and tarot card readers. And, I feel like, they kind of do a general, right? Sometimes you feel there's a little bit. Okay. So have you ever gotten anything, and you have to tell me exactly what it was, but have you ever gotten anything where you're like, I can't say that out loud?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did you call out somebody's dark secret or?
So not dark secret. I don't know, though, because I love a bit of drama. Unashamedly, if there is a juicy story in those cards, I will tell it.
Okay, so you don't hold back.
But I don't do a lot of like one-on-one readings, like mediumship readings for people. So I will go if I'm at a ghost hunt, or if someone's like, I have this haunting, will you look into this for me? The answer is yes, I absolutely will. Okay. Tell me the details. But in those cases, it's much easier to sit down and be like, ooh, I think there was an affair going on. Ooh, she had a side piece. Yeah. Check her out. Good for you. Get it. But now, well, not now, but I have never, that's not a service that I have offered to sit down with people one-on-one, because that does get tricky. I really don't want to tell someone that their grandpa is talking about their long lost lover or whatever. Like that's uncomfy. It's way more fun when it's not related to anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So in your community, though, I would assume you have
in my community
talk to, right?
I do. I have a lot of people that I talk to. Okay. I haven't had a lot of things like that come up. And I think that it's because the way that I use tarot is more as, aside from mediumship, I use tarot mostly for personal growth, which is why on my page, you'll see me being like, today sucks. Let's talk to the cards about it. What do they have to say? Because instead of sitting and wallowing, which I do sometimes, if I'm being perfectly honest, everybody needs a good wallow now and then. But instead of letting that feeling sit, I'll say, all right, what did I need to learn from this? Because I don't want to do this again. How can we move forward with this energy? So with that being said, I will usually know if there is something emotionally that you are not facing and you want to bury your head in the sand. I'll know it, and I'll just rely on both the cards and my gut feeling whether or not I should push it. Because there's definitely been ones that I was like, ooh, it's not the right time to face this. Yeah. But I have a pretty good feeling of what's going on in their lives. There have been a few. I don't do a lot of relationship readings on purpose because I have had to tell a lot of people that there was a decent chance that their partner was not being faithful, and I don't like that.
Who wants to be the bearer of that bad news?
No. If it's a ghost, 1000%, I'm in. I have no skin in that game. Right. But telling someone who's come to you and saying my relationship is falling apart, what do I do? And pulling cards, and it's like, oh no. That's very uncomfy. I'm good at it. I'm good at wording things. I'm good at wording the message in a way that's not hurtful or like adding to it. But it is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be kind of an odd thing, like as you're pulling cards, right? And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, like this seems like a really dark secret that I'm about to spill. And
I know. Well, I think that there are readers out there who will get like specific words and phrases, a lot like other mediums, that they will get like visual or auditory downloads. I really don't get that. I work with feelings mostly. So that's why I use the cards the way that I, for mediumship and just for general, like I can pick up what you're feeling and I can have a good idea that I'm on the right track, but I don't get the words and see things like a lot of other people. So the tarot cards bridge that gap for me.
Okay.
So your secrets are safe.
Are they though?
Mostly.
So do you feel as so how long this has been, I don't even have a concept of time anymore, Carly.
It's okay. That's fine. You know what? COVID, all the things. How long have I lived here? I've been here like 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I lost my concept of time just then too. I think I've been here for like 5 years. That's a long time to be in Florida. That's unfortunate. That's how long I've been practicing.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to remember because I remember you were just kind of starting out, and I remember I caught you.
I was just starting the mediumship when we had started talking, and I had been at that point. I had been reading for 2 years. How long have we known each other?
About 3 years then. Yeah.
That doesn't even sound right to me.
It does. Yeah.
What?
2019. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What? It's 2000. Oh no. What is time? I don't like all of this.
That's what I'm saying. I feel
It's
like
blowing my mind. Yeah.
you're kind of just getting out there and really sharing.
My page was getting a lot bigger, and I was testing the waters to see, because I didn't realize that you could practice mediumship like that. I just kind of like I fell into it because I was bored, and then I was like, can I do this regularly and consistently and get accurate information? And it took a long time to build my confidence up enough to be like, okay, this is a thing that I can do, and I'm very good at it. So.
Okay, so can we, like, everybody's like very quiet over there. I don't know if they've all left. Or if they're just being quiet. I don't know what's going on.
I've driven them away.
But maybe we'll get them back with some like dark secrets. So could you do a little something for us here tonight?
I absolutely could. I won't read the name of this deck because it's not radio friendly. But I brought a fun one.
There we go. All righty then.
The card, actually, I brought that one, and my favorite to use for people, just for funsies, is the Mood Oracle.
Oh my God. There you go.
We'll do both.
Yeah, we'll do.
I will keep it PG. There's words that are not PG, but I will edit the words.
There you go. Okay, so okay, so Michael and Dehoot, they're still here. They're just like taking it in. So how do you, when you do a reading like this, how do you do you just kind of dive in? Do you like anybody to set an intention? Like, how do you like to start something off?
I do like to dive in. I always give people the option. So I could start, if I'm reading for both of you, decide who's going to go first. And then if you have a specific question, hit me with it. I'll ask the cards. I'll tell you what I think. Otherwise, we can leave it up to the universe and just ask what you need to know. And that's
do you have a question, Dee Dee? Do you have
I always ask, what do I need to know now?
I love asking that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, let Dee Dee go first with her question, and I'll throw that crap right to the universe.
Dee Dee, what do you need to know now? I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck, and I'm going to pull 1 from that Oracle deck, just for fun.
Because I'm going to look that deck up. That's cool.
Yeah, it is the funniest deck. It makes me happy every time I use it. That's the whole purpose of that one. Dee Dee. Okay. Well, let's see what your tarot cards say.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
That'll happen. Okay, actually, it's really not bad.
That's good. It's really not bad.
It's not bad. So
What you see a dumpster fire for those of you on the radio.
Fire. Your card from the Mood Oracle is dumpster fire, and it says, "Don't go there. It's a 2020 level dumpster fire." So if you have anything going on that you're like, well, hate this, I'm not a fan of anything that's happening right here, it's gonna get okay. It's going to get okay. That's not how words work. The Hermit is your next card from Tarot. And the Hermit is a card of introspection and really going within. But it can also mean stepping away from situations or people and wrapping yourself up in a little blanket, drinking some tea, and really taking some alone time to recharge. And your next card is this is the Two of Ray Guns, and in traditional tarot, sorry, I can't figure out how to hold it. The camera's backwards. It throws me off. In traditional tarot, this would be the Two of Swords, and she is blindfolded, and there's usually two swords in front of her, but one of my favorite depictions has two paths behind her. And what that means is that there is a decision or a moment that needs your attention, but it's stressing you out. I almost said, I almost phrased it differently. I had to stop myself. It's stressing you out, and that could be what the dumpster fire thing is about. But the biggest thing here is that you started with the Hermit, so that if you take time, if you step away from whatever the situation is, take a breath, take some time to recharge, and allow yourself to think. I have an exercise for you that I'll give you after this.
Okay.
If you give yourself the time and space to think and really feel out your situation, it's almost like you will be lifting the blindfold. She's blindfolded in this one too, but you'll be lifting that blindfold so that you will be able to see the options in front of you, because the Two of Swords will kind of give you occasionally that energy of being like frozen, like you don't know which path to take. And that's where the dumpster fire pick comes in probably. But the Ace of Ray Guns is your last card. And this is a card of clarity. So it really will, the Ace of Swords will cut through the crap and allow you to be able to see and understand what you need to see. But before you can get that, before you can get to the part where you're like, okay, I see all of my options, you have to stop and take a step back and really give yourself the time and space to breathe. So this exercise while you're hermiting, it's an easy one to do, but as mentioned before, I am a person with a lot of anxiety, just so much anxiety, more than your normal person, all day, every day, anxious. So I understand that feeling of being unable to choose a lot, because I call it analysis paralysis. You get stuck thinking of all the options, and it's not even necessarily what could go wrong, but it's like, well, but if I choose this, then this, and this is available. If I choose this, then this is available. Right. Which one do I choose? And instead of choosing, I will just like freeze and not do anything at all.
Me too.
That is anxiety brain, right? That is the constant need to have backup plans, the need to understand everything that could possibly happen before you can make a choice. So the exercise is you will sit down and you will let your anxiety brain have its say. Let all of the fears, all of the worries, all of the possibilities play out. You can write them down if that makes you feel better. But the next step, the one, I forget this a lot, but I'm good at telling other people to do this. The next step is that after you have let your anxious brain have its say, you'll tune into your higher self. So that could look like doing a meditation and asking that part of you what could go right instead of what could go wrong. Because it's not necessarily about making the right choice, because at the end of the day, you're going to get where you need to go no matter what. So both options might take you different places. There really isn't a wrong answer. But when you're stuck in that fear-based thinking, it's really hard to separate yourself from. So by giving yourself the chance, giving your mind the chance to have it say, and then following it up with an exercise to not only soothe yourself, but you could use tarot cards for this too, and specifically ask your higher self or your guardian angel or whoever you feel comfortable asking for help. It can be God. This is fully up to you. Ask them what could go right. What do you need to know? What are you not seeing about that situation? And giving that a chance to be heard too. So it is giving both parts of you a chance. But I think that especially when you are planning for your future or you have a big dream, being stuck in fear thinking doesn't even allow the dream to really take off, because you'll shut it down and be like, that's not even possible because all these other things can go wrong. And it's letting that other part of your brain, the more creative side, step up and say, but it is possible. And here's why. And here's why. And here's what you should do. And maybe you won't get a solution, but that is also a psychiatrist. I made it a little more spiritual, but that is an exercise that therapists will use too, because that is a part of you that needs to be heard. And that's why you're having all of those fears. You are afraid. It's not, don't turn it off. Don't ignore it. That's just going to compound the problem. It'll be like a little cauldron bubbling up inside of you. But giving your fear a voice and hearing what it has to say, and then listening to the good news is the most important part.
So how long would you suggest sitting with that fear-based thought, though?
So what I do is there is no time limit, but I will go until I run out of things to worry about. Okay. And for me, but usually by the time I get to this point, I've already been worrying about it for a long time. So I know most of them already. And it's really more just of an exercise of
like a review.
Yeah, like a review or like a release. Like, you know what? Yeah. You're worried. Fine. Let's have your say. I would like to hear what you have to say. And then we will listen to this other part of me that also deserves a voice. Because the fear is louder sometimes, I think, for anxious people.
Yeah.
Well, and
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Does that feel like it resonates for you, Dee Dee?
Oh, totally. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
That she described me to a T.
Is there anything else that you would like to know about that? Or like, I'm happy to pull follow-up questions. So that's kind of what I meant before when I was like, I can feel what's going on. Like, I can't tell you what's going on. I don't know what decision you're facing or like what's stressing you out. I just know that it's there. But if you do have any questions that you want to ask, I'm happy to pull a couple other cards. I'll be quicker with this one. And then.
No, it was very good.
Okay, cool.
No, basically it goes to me. I have to allow myself to take the time to help myself.
Yes, that's the hardest part.
Yeah. It's much easier to like focus on others and helping others and not help yourself.
It sure is. Yeah.
So when you do readings like that, Carly, and the question is what do I need to know today? Do you find it easier? Do you feel people take that information in better coming from somebody else than they do say for themselves? Like, do you think Dee Dee took that in better than what you would take in just doing a reading for yourself? Like, what do I need to do today?
Well, sometimes I do it for myself and I'm annoyed about it. And I'm like, this again. Even tarot readers have other people read for them. I regularly exchange readings with friends of mine. And earlier today, I had a phone call that I was excited about. And one of my friends said, did you pull cards on it? I said, no. And they were like, why? I said, because what if it gives me bad news? I don't want that.
You want some surprises still in there.
Right. Well, so they pulled a card for me. And I was like, I'm just scared that I'm not going to like the answer. And they pulled cards for me. But it'll work like that. And sometimes when you're in a really rough spot, it is better to hear it from someone else. The amount of times that I was like, it got real recently. And I was like, I was very, very, very close to shutting down my page and just like, not because the page itself wasn't making me happy. There just was so much in my personal life that I was feeling like I couldn't keep up with everything. And I was like, something has to give. And maybe this is the thing. My cards were telling me to have hope and not give up. And I was like, gross, hate that. I'm over it. Stop telling me to be hopeful. Have you seen my life right now? But then my friends would give me the same message. And sometimes Spirit's able to relay messages in a different way to someone else because you're used to hearing it. I flip over the star and be like, you've got to be kidding me. The star is a card of hope. Be like, get out of my face. I don't want to talk to you right now. But when it comes from somebody else, it is like talking to a therapist or like talking to someone else where it's like, all right, times are hard right now. I won't give up. Fine.
Well, I think that's really a hard part of anything that, if you practice any tarot or reading or energy work, or, like for me with Reiki, you're supposed to every day do self Reiki to practice. Yeah. And I will be honest, I love doing it for other people, but yeah, I rather somebody come in and do it to me. It's like, I don't even want to do it for myself. Right. Yeah. and part of it is because you almost want to just let go and just take your hands off the wheel and just be like, just do it. Just tell
it me. Is kind of nice. Yeah. Just like, I don't want to have to think about what these ones mean. Can you just tell me? Just tell me.
You just word it for me and I'll go with it.
Yep. You can use your brain power. I'll use my brain power for you. We'll trade.
Right. So D-Hoot, I like this. D-Hoot is saying, why am I continually seeing 333?
Also, maybe after party tonight.
Oh,
so I will be entirely honest. I Google what those numbers mean regularly. I'm like, ooh, I know that 1111 is a good number. That's a happy, positive number. So sometimes I'll be doing something and I'll go, it's 1111. Yay. But when I see repeating numbers like that, I just Google it. I'm not great with numbers, and numerology is fascinating. I think that there's so much to it. There's numerology involved in tarot too, but I am a much more visual person than a numbers-based person. So you give me numbers and I just don't know what to do with them. I'm like, cool. Google. Tell me what this means. So I'm sorry I can't tell you.
I have put the feelers out for a numerologist, and it's not been easy to find anybody. I have put it out a couple times.
I actually don't know if I know anyone. If I stumble across anyone, I'll send them your way, because I do know a lot of interesting people. But yeah, I don't know if I know any neurologists either.
Yeah, I put it out there a couple times, and it's almost like crickets.
Probably because I don't know, but it is a fascinating thing. I would love for a numerologist to sit down and tell me about me with numbers, but you have to word it in a way I understand.
Yeah, that's right. It's not all mathematical, right? Don't ask me to add my numbers. That's
no. Yep, I had to have. It was I see 333. Oh, here, I'll just Google it right now. I have my
phone. What the heck?
What does 333 mean?
Well, in ghost shows, they say it's mocking the Trinity, but I don't know. That doesn't seem right.
Oh, this is interesting for you too, Dee Dee. It says, so also there, different websites may have slightly different meanings, but what does the number 333 mean spiritually? If you keep seeing the number 333, it could be a message that you need to pay attention to an impending decision. That was actually pretty funny how that tied in. It is an indication that the road ahead is open for you to continue on your journey. So I would think that was a good thing, a little boost of encouragement, and also maybe stop avoiding the thing.
A little validation right here on the show. So Travis and Dee, I'm just going to say, do you guys have an impending decision that you need to pay attention to? Perhaps that's why you guys are seeing all of that.
Good things are coming, because it says that the path ahead is clear for you.
That's right.
So
that's right.
I would always say, take whatever I say about numerology with a grain of salt, because that is not my area of expertise.
That's not what Carly said. That's what Google
That's
said.
what Google says. Google said that. It's a good thing, though. I say it's a good thing, but also it's from Google.
So says Google.
Google.
Okay. So for me, let's leave it to universe. All
right.
Yeah. Like what message does universe have for Miss Sarah?
What message does the universe have for Sarah today? We're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do 3 cards and 1 from the Mood Oracle. And we'll see what comes out. I put it under my computer, though. That wasn't a great.
The hidden message.
A hidden message. We had to dig for this one.
I'm done with those. I need something in my face now. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of done with the hidden message. I would sort of like somebody to write it out on a notebook.
I can do that. I have a chalkboard. Not here.
There you go.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Okay, I can say this one because it's spelled differently. Quit being a weak bish. And then it says, eat your veggies, do your kegels, save tigers. And that would be Carol Baskin, and it says freedom from the Joe Exotic. But this one,
I think I'm a weak bitch, but perhaps.
No, you're not. Well, okay. So
you're about to get real. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can really like right that moment really felt like it's time.
Well, you said that you wanted to be told directly, so they were like, all right,
give it to me.
Here we go.
Here we go.
It ends on a good note, though. Do your pull-ups. Do your pull-ups. So to me, your card from the Mood Oracle, you got to take that one with a grain of salt. That one's just sassy and sarcastic. All 10 ways to Sunday. But to me, that one is like, come on, dust yourself off. You got this. Gather your little inner reserves. Your first card is the 10 of Ray Guns, which would be the 10 of Swords in tarot. Okay. And that is a card that it can mean a few different things. It's never really a good card. It's a card that's like, you know what? It's been real. It's been real. In traditional, that would be 10 swords sticking out of your back. My favorite version, I don't own this deck, but I love the card. It's I think it's the Modern Witches Oracle. No, Modern Witches Tarot. And she's laying there with all the swords in her back and she's staring at her phone and it says, this is fine. just associating. But what this means is more emotional woundings. And this does not have to be something that happened immediately. This could be an old wound for you that you have not wanted to face, or something, a repeating theme. Something keeps coming up, and every time it comes up, it's like, ooh, ouch. That is, don't like that. But the 10 of Swords comes with, it's good and it's bad. I just said I'm not good with numbers, but I do know that the 10s in tarots are the end of a cycle. So whatever this cycle is that has been repeating, it is something, Modern Witch Tarot deck. Thank you, Busy. Whatever this cycle is, it is coming to a close, and it probably is something that has been hard to face, or something that you would rather turn away and be like, no, not today. Not today. It will be a repeating theme. And for you, I do think that this is not an immediate, like this isn't something that happened yesterday, but just something that's been festering. Like you got 10 swords in your back and you're just walking around with them. Keep on keeping on. And I think that that's where your card comes in. That's like, come on, save those tigers. It's time, get up. But then you have the Queen of Specimens, which would be the Queen of Cups in traditional tarot. And this is my favorite queen. So well done. And the Queen of Cups is emotionally balanced, but she's also, it's getting dark. I'm going to turn my lamp up. She's emotionally balanced, but she is also able to tend to not only hers, but other people's emotions. So the Queen of Cups is coming in right after the 10 of Swords to be like, hey, it's time to take care of yourself. It's time physically, not physically. We're talking emotionally, because you are in fantastic shape. I watch your videos sometimes and I'm like, how are you even doing that? I can't do a push-up. I'm not even being funny. Like, I cannot. Upper body strength is not my forte. It is truly embarrassing.
We'll see how, like, I'm not there yet. I'm little past halfway the pull-up mark. Little past
way. So this really would be indicating that what you need to do is nurture yourself emotionally. You're great at nurturing yourself physically. I'm sure you have a physical health regimen. I'm sure that you eat well too, for the most part. Okay, we won't tell anyone that. It's fine. It's fine. I am not supposed to eat gluten, and I do it regularly. So
I just lift weights. There's really no regiment there. It's just I like strong girl summer, right?
Strong girl summer. I like strong girl summer. I'm a fan of that. So now you're going to be strong girl emotion summer. That's your new vibe. But the good news is that your last card, I like this one. It's the 8 of Probes. Fun. They are what you think they are. Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, excuse me.
Yes, that is exactly what you think they are. And yes, it is. The 8 of Probes would be the 8 of Wands in traditional tarot. And that is fast moving energy. So when you rip that Band-Aid off and face whatever it is, the thing is, it's going to rapidly resolve itself and you won't have it hanging over you anymore. And it will be a relief. be a relief when you're like sitting down and dealing with the feelings and the things that are coming up from this event, whatever this thing is. But by taking the time to sit with it and focus it, that's how you're going to remove the swords from your back. And like, imagine trying to run a marathon with swords in your back. Take the swords out, you're good to go. You're taking off quick as a whip. And that is kind of the message here, that like they are telling you, if you will face this, whatever this thing is, sit down, face it, things are going to get a lot better, a lot quicker. And it almost seems like you've been waiting for something. What? I don't know. But there is like come on, it's time. I want to get going, like an antsy kind of energy. And they're like, you want to go, you have to do this first.
Wow.
So you're pretty much spot on. I think that actually even happened before the show. So
okay, cool.
So
I wasn't sure about that part, so that's good to know.
Yeah, that is, we're right there. Like that is probably, and you're right, it's not an old wound, or it's not a new wound. It is definitely something that I have battled with for a long time.
An old one that got triggered. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting. It's something, even like when you work with Reiki or anything like that, right? Like we know these are things that to me are in the forefront. Well, they're not in the forefront. We're pushing them back, and we need something like Reiki or tarot cards or whatever to sit down and say,
hey, deal with this.
Yeah.
Yes. That moment is what got me so deeply into it, because I was reading it and I was reading it for fun, but I had a come to Jesus moment with my cards, and they're like, girlfriend, you are a mess. Get it together. And I was like, what do you mean? I am a mostly functioning human being. Was not. This, who I am today, is after like years of actively working on myself. I just had more damage than most people.
Okay, so do you feel like when you work with cards, do you have any sort of thing in your head that's like you're calling in your spirit guides, you're calling in ancestors? Like, do you have anything that you work with besides the cards? I mean, cards are kind of like universe, right? Kind of.
Yeah. The card, I would say yes to both. So I do have a spirit guide who is very active in my life because he will not be ignored. If I try to ignore him, he shows up. My friend Busy, who commented, I have another friend too, where like I will try to ignore and not talk to him for a while, and he'll show up at their house and just start like slapping cards out of their hands, which I didn't think could happen until I ignored him for too long. I have a hard time working with anyone or anything because I have a lot of religious trauma. So for me, opening up, like I can trust the cards and I understand that the universe is a thing. I believe in the universe. I get all sorts of weird information from the universe, right? Like I understand that, but once there is another authority figure, I'm like, ooh, no, not doing that. So recently I've been having a lot of messages about ancestors. And I'm like, gross. No, I know that you're related to me, but I don't, no, thank you. Please go away. And they're like, we'll help you. I'm like, I don't see how. So, so my practice is different than a lot of others. I know a lot of people who have deities and spirit guides and ancestors and angels. And I pretty much just have my guide because he's the only one that I will allow, and only because I couldn't ignore him.
There you go.
Yeah, and that it really is a result of heavy religious trauma for me, that it is something that feels unsafe to me to have extras, even ancestors, or, that's, they come from my blood, but still I'm like, are you going to tell me what to do though? Because I don't like that. Not a fan.
Well, honestly, we like ran out time fast, and I hate that because Carly, you're an amazing guest, but please go check out Instagram, Village Witch Tarot.
Tarot Witch.
The Village Tarot Witch.
Different jumble.
Right. And YouTube, please go check out her YouTube, subscribe, help her out,
please,
and watch her do her daily readings. Carly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you. Can't wait to watch you do bigger and better things continually.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you for watching us. An hour went by like that tonight.
Sure
did.
So we will catch you guys next Monday. Check us out.
All right. Bye.